The 4-3-3 second variation is one of the best formations in this game to play it as true to real football as possible. So today I'm going to be showing you guys the best 4-3-3 second variation custom tactics to help you guys master the passing game. Let's get into it. If these tactics do help you guys out, please be sure to leave a like rating on the video. It really goes a long way and helps me out. In return, here is the tactics code for these tactics on screen down below. Getting into the custom tactics, starting with the build-up style, we are going to be running with short passing, as you would expect for a tiki-taka style. The way we'll be formatting this team shape really lends to that short passing style as well. Lots of little triangles for us to work the ball between. The defensive approach, I've opted for high, only because the 4-3-3 doesn't have a very strong defensive shape. So in my mind, whenever you're playing something that doesn't necessarily have a strong defensive shape, pressing is generally the way to go to try and force mistakes out of the opponent. However, if you're not comfortable playing a high line, I recommend 50 also. Both work. It's basically just down to your personal preference. Taking a look at the team shape, obviously we have this standard sort of 4-3-3 shape for when we are off of the ball, when we're pressing the opponent. Not really anything to talk through there. That is just your standard shape. However, with the ball, we are looking at this very lopsided sort of formation. Now, I feel like the way this is shown on the graphic is a little bit misleading. In-game, I honestly feel like it's basically like that in-game, and your right back just will not commit forward. However, when you put on this defend focus, it shows them tucking in a lot. In-game, it doesn't really play like that. You can expect them to sit more over to the right-hand side like a true right back. So effectively, this is the shape you'll be playing in. Your right centre mid acting as your sort of wide midfield threat, and then your left back acting as your wide threat on the left side, and then you've got your right winger and left winger tucking in to link up with the striker, and then also those centre mids just in behind them as well. Because our left back is committing on this side, that is why we have got these two here on holding. Obviously your middle one to be the anchor midfield, but the one on the left to kind of cover for that left back that is committing forward. So getting into the player roles, obviously I've touched on a few of them there, but I'll talk you through sort of my logic as we go. The striker is on an advanced forward attack. Advanced forward to get a mix of them dropping short, but also advancing forward. Honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to running the complete focus. That will probably actually help the link-up play between the wingers, because they'll naturally drift out wide a little bit to link up the play. However, because I've only got one striker in this formation, I just liked them occupying the two centre-backs, sort of threatening with those runs through the middle. So it depends what you value more, whether you want them running through the middle of the two centre-backs often, or whether you want them there more linking up with the wingers. If you want the link-up play a little bit more, go with complete. If you want that threat through the middle, then go with attack. Both wingers are on inside forward. However, something I've really enjoyed experimenting with this tactic is the focus on roaming. They really exploit wherever the opponent is leaving gaps, opposed to always tucking into the same areas like they will with attack or balanced. So effectively, in-game roaming plays a lot like balanced in terms of how they drop back and support. However, they will just kind of make runs through where the gaps are, not just generically running into the same sort of areas. Our left centre mid, as alluded to earlier, is on holding defend, as is our middle centre mid, or I should say the central defensive midfielder in this formation. That is literally to cover for our left back, who you can see there is on wing back balance, being our sort of overlap on that side. And then our right centre mid is on playmaker. So as you can see, when we're on the ball, they push up just that little bit more. And the reason I've put on roaming is because when they're on attack, they stick very centrally. Because our right back isn't attacking forward, I've put it to roaming. Because as you can see there, the right centre mid then covers a wider area of the pitch. So if there is space out wide on the far right, they will, you know, sort of gravitate out wide and cover that space. So they're less regimented and given a little bit more freedom effectively. Our right back is actually fullback defend. I just had it on balance from earlier, just showing you guys how they actually generally position themselves in game. Like I said, they don't tuck in as much as this alludes to. Both of our centre-backs are on defender defend. No nonsense there. We don't really particularly feel the need to use anything like a stopper or a ball-playing defender in this one. Defender defend is absolutely fine. Then goalkeeper, honestly, go for your personal preference between goalkeeper and sweeper keeper, but I personally opt to go for the sweeper keeper balance focus. As we get into a few of the goals that I scored with the formation, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how to play with it in game, the key with this one is just exploit all the triangles that open up in this formation. So many passing triangles to play that tiki-taka style. You get them between the winger, striker and centre mid. You get them between the centre mid, centre back and wing back. There's just endless options, always a passing option, and don't always feel the need to really exploit the left back as your overlap. You don't have to drive the attacks down that way. It honestly can just be an extra person in the midfield to play as a passing option if you want to. Just utilize the triangles, trigger runs manually when you feel like it makes sense to do so, and then utilize those triangles to then feed them in behind. But if you want to play that slower style, that also works with the short passing. It often lends to a slower build-up style. So honestly, don't think too much with this one. Just get in game and play with what you've got in front of you. Play with what you see in front of you. Do what you think makes sense. And honestly, you'll have a field day with it. It's one of those where you really haven't got to force a certain style. All I would say is, as a heads up, is just really acknowledge how many triangles are there and just use them to maneuver the ball around the pitch. If this tactic does help you out, guys, please be sure to let me know down below. And you can also check out my custom tactics playlist, which is linked in the description. But as always, guys, if you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.